It's 4:34 at the Geek House, and it is not an overtime stream. I did, however, forget to set the focus on the camera to manual. That's one of the things I got to work on. It's a project I have in mind to retire webcams permanently and just use old YouTube cameras that I don't want to use for videos as webcams for streams. What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay. My chat stream format is a little outdated. So these are going to show the old Paladin alerts without no trucks driving across the screen. I got to set those up. I got to set those up to get rid of. It's weird because I have regular alerts in ESO streams, but I have ESO alerts in the chat streams because I haven't gotten any alerts in a chat stream other than King Europe with his super chat earlier. So what we have here is this. Jason. Another Jason. Thank you for subbing on YouTube. And over on the Twitch side of things, everything is still set up the way it was with the for the anti-hate raid thing a couple of months ago. So, hey, look, a new follower. That is actually Taildos from Twitch with the Twitch follow. Also, we might as well just play it again. What is it? Might as well see. Might as well just play it again because Mackie Phoenix followed me on Twitch as well. And so the thing that I just set up, the thing that I just activated on this channel was a chat stream that I did yesterday on Twitch to explain my situation regarding Twitch and just why. Well, it all boils down to this. Once you are established on YouTube, you really shouldn't even bother getting established on Twitch. Much smaller company, it has its own unique problems, and despite the issues related to Twitch and all the stuff that's been going on there, despite the progress that Twitch has made, it's basically major league, minor league. Once you're established on YouTube, Twitch really isn't worth pursuing. I think that's going to become more of an issue as we see this whole setup where stream grinding gives way to people doing another mix of stuff. I think we're going to see more of that as things continue to develop here. So yes, it's 4:36, way later than I'd normally stream. Waited until Vindalia ended stream and then went over and then set everything up for this because what I was doing was dependent upon who was doing what when this weekend. We have a longer weekend than usual because next week with the 9 to 5 it's inventory week. So that's going to involve probably being tired most of the time or maybe sore most of the time, getting everything done early and then counting on Thursday and Friday. So, and day one of counting is always a 10-hour overtime night. So, and then there will probably be at least one overtime night while we're trying to get everything done in time to start counting. So it's no holds barred. The building will be ready to freeze the inventory by the time the weekend is approaching. We'll only have one day off anyway. So the streaming will stop for inventory week. Unless we're lucky enough that everything drops low enough in terms of order volume that I can come home and do anything really that night. So for now, though, as sunrise approaches, let's fire up some Stream Beats Lo-Fi. I never play this stuff. Well, so let's fire it up. Fire it up and set the music to 7% like it's a YouTube, like it's a tech video. Check 1, 2. We're actually getting some stream lag or somebody messing with something. I'm surprised the warning didn't go off that the stream was lagging. Wave and watch it show up in the preview a little later on. Yeah, what? Is this broadband gonna barf up now or something? Or do I have to go restart the router? I don't know. We'll just delete the stream and start it over if it's gonna be that much of an issue. Usually it isn't, surprisingly enough. Why am I getting lag on a PC stream? That just makes zero sense whatsoever. Regardless, we got to talk about a couple of things related to the tech videos and other stuff. And of course, as usual, people can watch these things after the fact. But I've been looking at a lot of stuff with a lot of numbers, and the numbers are not good. I do a lot of things based on numbers, and that's one of the reasons why I've said some of the things that I've said regarding numbers, ad blockers, the whole 9 yards. So let me open up my numbers here. Channel content. Let's see this. Right, and let's like this stream. I've already been demonetized. Typical YouTube. It's just YouTube is so unfriendly to chat streams. Makes me wonder why anybody tries to talk about it. But the YouTube robots are unfriendly to chat streams. But over on Twitch, a lot of people, a lot of policies are unfriendly to chat streams. So it really makes me wonder where anybody can do any streaming whatsoever about, speaking their mind and stuff like that. But the truth of the matter with a lot of this is there's been a lot of really friendly people that I've been meeting in the ESO community. And so I'm here today to talk about, I'm going to be taking this channel in a more gaming focused direction. There'll still be some tech videos if I feel like making them. But you look at the state of tech right now and how everything's overpriced and you can't find anything. But that's only the latest symptom in an ongoing problem related very specifically to technology and just the people that are into technology. Now, I'm probably one of the few people on YouTube that will actually take the hit numbers-wise to call out the way that tech people treat YouTubers. So when people are talking about they're not watching tech videos because they don't want to be reminded of stuff they can't buy, I call out that behavior as it is not the YouTuber's fault that the market is broken right now. Why are you going to punish these YouTubers that you allegedly support and want to, see videos from because of something they can't control? Somebody like Paul's Hardware or Marcus Brownlee or whoever you watch. Hey guys, this is Austin. Yeah, Austin Evans even. Level 1 Techs, Tech Syndicate. Any of these folks out there. They don't control the supply chain situation or the situation at the ports. They don't control that stuff. So why would people want to talk about essentially punishing people? Why do you want to talk about essentially, let me just see something here. Missing a dock. SE Live, I need a dock for chat. There we go, it's back up now. It was broken when I was over on Twitch yesterday and it was popping an error message and I shut it off. But yeah, why on earth does anybody think that they can punish? Why should you punish a YouTuber who did nothing wrong because the market's broken? And I think this boils down to a little something that people really don't think about when they watch YouTube videos or streams or whatever. There really is no such thing as passively watching YouTube videos. The time you're spending watching people on YouTube, or should I say videos on YouTube, because YouTube has kind of moved away from being about people, and now it's about the what, it's about branding and all kinds of other stuff and corporate influence and crap like that. But there is no such thing as passively watching a YouTuber. The time you spend watching or clicking away from a video is recorded and it's crunched like data, and there's analytics galore related to what you think is a passive activity of just watching someone on YouTube. So if you watch YouTubers, you are not in a passive position as a passive onlooker. You are an active part of an ecosystem that inspires people to make stuff. So watching people is the most rudimentary form of supporting them. Because if people can see that people give a darn about what it is that they're saying or doing, then they'll make more of it. It's the way it is. People don't like talking to walls, and that includes a wall on the internet. That's why discoverability is so incredibly important for all these platforms. You know what? Let's drop this. I want to mellow it even more. Let's drop this lo-fi and let's drop it even more and let's do Stream Beats Ambient. There we go. So there is no such thing as passively watching YouTubers. You are an active participant in this ecosystem, and if it doesn't feel like it's worth people's time, people stop making videos. I've seen this because I've seen creators like gaming creators and stuff like that. I've actually seen people that I used to watch on YouTube just walk away from all of this, and they didn't say anything either. They just left their audience hanging and just left. Maybe there'll be a tweet or a blog entry or something later on down the road telling why they left YouTube, but there are people that have straight up vanished. And so I guess the thing we have to remember as we all watch videos on here is we're not passive observers. We are an active member of this ecosystem. If I'm watching someone's videos on a regular basis, I am part of the reason why they want to keep making videos, because they're seeing that I'm watching their videos, and it's like, oh, people are interested in this stuff. Let's keep doing it. So it's like nonverbal communication, that thing that people don't really talk about enough. So yeah, nonverbal communication, that thing that people don't talk enough about. We send messages even when we don't say anything. You know, get behind someone in traffic and flip them off or something, and you will have sent a message to them without having to say a single word. And they might send a message back to you by honking the horn and, you know, getting mad at you. But, I mean, nonverbal communication is a thing. So, and the same thing is true when you're watching stuff on the internet. The same thing is true when you're watching stuff online. So, YouTube in the last year or two has been going wild with the analytics and giving me a lot of stuff to look at. And that's why I'm here today to say that I owe a lot of people apologies for being a douche. Hope you don't mind my 90s terminology. There's a little something from my background and when I was growing up. Just watch that bit rate. Make sure it doesn't screw up again. There's a little something from my background and when I was growing up. My stepmother is a massive introvert. She's one of those people that wants to always stay away from people. She has a house in the woods on the edge of a tiny woodsy town, the one I grew up in. And I've watched over the years as my dad has become more of a hermit, just like she is. And now it's a situation where my dad and I are almost completely different people nowadays, simply because he has taken the influence from my stepmother, who's a big hermit, who didn't want to give people a chance. So I could go into details on the personality issues with those two, but it'll suffice to say that my stepmother has made my dad more introverted over the years, especially since I got out on my own and they both, you know, worked the rest of the years and retired. And so, but the thing is, I really am in no position to go down that path. I am in no position to be insular like that because of my college background. Part of my college background was being introduced to business, the international business, and keeping tabs on what's going on around the world. The term cosmopolitan comes to mind, but not the magazine. The word cosmopolitan refers to being open-minded enough to take input from several different sources. So, my background, so I am basically the kind of person that doesn't want to be too far. I mean, I'm an introvert, yes, but I don't want to be too far from civilization. I don't want to be in some little cabin out in the woods, never seeing people ever again, telling everybody to leave me alone. So, I mean, if there's good people out there, if there's people I can mesh with and be friends with, I want to meet those folks. So, really think about it, the deck has been stacked against me. I grew up out in the woods. You really needed a car to go anywhere. I mean, I had a bike when I was a kid, but with how far out in the woods we were, I might pass, like, you know, go biking for like a couple miles and pass like 7 houses. Maybe 3 had kids and maybe 1 had someone my age. And then it was a matter of whether they want to be friends with me or not. So, I mean, it's not a situation where I got to be any kind of social butterfly growing up. My stepmother is certainly with her "it's all because of people" attitude, blaming everybody around here for all the world's problems. It's I make fun of that all the time, but it's really is her credo that everything has something to do with people doing something stupid. The problem is, that's not an excuse to wall yourself off and be insular and have your social skills completely die as a result of that. You need to be able to work with people, maybe even people that you have differences with. So it's a good idea to keep an open mind enough, even if you're not going out being a social butterfly at events and stuff, or going to nightclubs or restaurants or whatever, or just general extrovert places in general. Now, keep an eye on things. Now, be open-minded enough, especially to be, you know, have a situation where you could be open to the idea of being wrong about something. Learn how other people arrive at the beliefs and conclusions and other stuff that they come to. Why are people the way they are? And one of the things I've noticed with Twitch, which forced me to do that because I'm on night shift. So I come home and there are streamers from halfway around the world There are streamers from halfway around the world going out to lunch when I'm coming home in the middle of the night, my time. So you get to see, you know, okay, so over in Korea, they do this. In China, they do this. In Taiwan, they do this. In Japan, they do this. In Vietnam, they do this. In Thailand, they do this. You know, like, oh, look at the different ways they do things. And then look at the ways that were similar. I happen to be a huge fan of Korean chopsticks, by the way. So introduced to metal chopsticks thanks to the Korean streamers. And every so often when I buy a skillet meal, I'll grab the chopsticks because you kind of... You can shovel food with them, but I mean, if you want to eat the same amount of calories, take more time eating them, you know, poking at things with chopsticks is a great way to do that. Especially if you have a problem with being raised in a generation of convenience food, where you tend to be one of those people that eats really fast because you got to get going on stuff, but then you don't remember what anything tastes like, or maybe like an hour later you have to struggle to remember what you had for breakfast in the first place because you're so wrapped up in just next. So I was watching some old Play Some Stuff videos from 2009 last night because my gaming videos on YouTube go back further than my tech videos to the tune of years. And I was looking at kind of the style of how I did, like, you know, a review-ish video of Cruisin' USA and Endless Ocean and other games like that. And I was watching that, and I was noting how my style had changed over the years. My microphones upgrades have made me sound better. My voice probably changed, too. That happens as you get older. But it's just... And, of course, Play Some Stuff, how it's edited. It's time to play some stuff was once a little higher than normal, I think. Or maybe I did sound like that. But it's just, it almost seems like when I watch something from early 2010s, it's like I'm watching a completely different person. One of the things I'm thinking of doing, actually, is doing chat streams like this, where I react to some of my old stuff from back then, like old tech videos or something, and just talk the way I would talk now, and just reflect on all of that. I mean, life is a journey, but eventually you make so much progress that you start to resemble a different kind of person. And part of what I've had to do since I've been doing all of this, and especially since I got into streaming, where no more hiding behind Audacity or the ability to edit, I need to be able to talk impromptu for a long period of time. Can't hide it anymore, can't edit it out like some vloggers do on YouTube with their jump cuts and other stuff like that, or slapping gaming footage onto a completely unrelated discussion. No more of that. I have to be able to be sociable. Well, a lot of what I've had to do since I've been involved in this stuff, a lot of what I've had to do is get past the way I was, you know, how insular I was raised to be. I was raised to be incredibly insular and introverted and very narcissistic. And then I worked hard in school and graduated first in my class in middle school and high school, and then magna cum laude in college. So I know what it's like to work for formal credentials and what it takes to get those formal credentials. But it's interesting watching the way I was back then. I'm like, hey, that's a completely different person. I don't want to be like that anymore. Or that person's a jerk. I don't want to be like that anymore. And I can even just go back to 2015-16 nowadays and think that I was a jerk back then. So it just makes me wonder, you know, what am I going to think of myself in 5 years? So, something I've really had to think about. I watch my old videos on YouTube and I'm like, that seems like a different person, or I wouldn't think like that these days. I wouldn't talk like that these days. I wouldn't act like that these days. And that's even with this whole sunglassy thing having been a thing for pretty much my entire YouTube channel's existence. The oldest video on the channel is Humble Roots, my multimedia anthology. That's a 2006 video. It was re-uploaded in 2008 because all of my 2006, 7, and some 8 videos were deleted. I deleted them all because I was ready to walk away from YouTube when the Angry Video Game Nerd got suspended. It was people in the comments and fans of my channel that told me to chill out, relax, and don't get all worked up about it. It's probably a mistake. It was a mistake. AVGN got reinstated the next day. So here I am I wiped out my channel, and had those people not intervened, I would have walked away from YouTube for good. I still have the video. It's not on here anymore. Might be something I react to later on, but I was furious. I was like, YouTube sucks, I'm leaving. So if it wasn't for those good people back then, if it wasn't for all those good people back then, I would have never done any gaming series or any tech series on here. Play Some Stuff would have never been a thing. Wacky World of MultimediaJay would have never been a thing. It was only those... So, I mean, I think the big thing, too, is I was raised to be very self-reliant, a lone wolf, somebody who worked as hard as he could before asking others for help. The hardest thing to really come to accept when all that's going on, though, is this idea that no man is an island. I'd heard that cliche growing up, but I didn't really know what it meant. But yeah, the whole no man is an island thing. I was raised to be a very insular narcissist who comes up with the tiniest reasons to have nothing to do with people and just avoids people and just like lives in the woods somewhere. I've had to come to grips with the whole social skills thing actually mattering, and the fact that by default I'm going to suck at them because of this. So yeah, title of the stream is I owe a lot of people apologies, but I'm not the kind of person who's going to cry my eyes out like a little kid and go, sorry. No. My background is one that's a lot more thoughtful and a lot more reserved. The background I come from talks about, in religion, for example, repentance being a two-step process. You're sorry for what you did, and then you work to be better at it. So it's not just a matter of saying sorry. A lot of people say sorry, and then they don't change. They don't try to be better. So this can't just be like some kind of hollow apology. I just need to say, look, I realize I've been a total jackass in a lot of ways over the years. And there are some people that are probably like, why doesn't he do this? Why is he, putting himself down so much? Why is he saying bad things about his own tech videos, which are rather original? Not a lot of people do over-the-shoulder videos, especially in the style that I do them in. So it's just the thing. There's probably people out there scratching it, and I know this because I've experienced it going in the other direction. There are creators who are putting themselves down, and I'm like, these people are talented. They have good looks. They're good on camera. They should be proud of what they've accomplished. But they've hit that issue where whatever it is that you have in life becomes normal. Whatever it is you have in life becomes mundane. Whatever it is you have in life becomes same old, same old. And this is one of the reasons I talk about this around Thanksgiving usually. I call it the forgotten holiday because our highly commercial culture pretty much skips from Halloween to Christmas. If you look at what's in the stores and things like that. Our highly commercial culture loves to skip from Halloween to Christmas and skip over Thanksgiving. The idea of a holiday where you give thanks for the good things that you have seems to be a foreign idea in this country with how commercialized and how money-focused we are. But that's the thing. Sometimes you just gotta stop and look at what you have and be glad you have it. The unfortunate reality is that we live in a day and age where people don't want to be level-headed anymore. And this is just one of the things that's causing all kinds of problems for me having or keeping any kinds of friends. Because people are they don't realize how people want to scam them by pulling on their heartstrings so much that they shut off their brains. What you see right now, you can put in the time, do the work, learn real knowledge, or you can play the conspiracy theory game where someone jacks your emotions, you don't think about what you're saying, and you go around trying to do the same to others. It's like a giant pyramid scheme. Someone jacks your emotions, you don't think about what you're saying, but you are so wound up, you go saying it to others trying to do the same thing to them. That's how these things get around. And so you're going to see it's going to spill into our politics, it's going to spill into the news cycle. You're going to see this divide develop in our culture these days between people who can actually keep their head on straight and think things through and people who are just emotional windbags winging everything. I think it's pretty obvious what side I want to be on. Although I've certainly spent plenty of time in traditions where people are fired up about things, whether religious or political or anything of that sort. So it's really a matter of finding where the good people are and becoming friends with them and stuff like that. And that's one of the reasons why, you have these communities, these ESO communities. Elder Scrolls Online is a more grown-up game compared to Final Fantasy or Warcraft. Elder Scrolls Online, the characters you can make pretty much look like adults. There is no, like, anime teenagers saving the world like there would be in Final Fantasy, or, ripped dudes with giant shoulder plate armor like you see in Warcraft, or orcs or something like that, or night elves. It's like... And ESO is not really a cartoon either. It's got the kind of realistic-looking graphics that the offline Elder Scrolls games have. Part of the side effects of that is it's less popular, but the people that do play it can be more mature if you find the right crowd. The reason I was on Twitch last night recording the thing I recorded on Twitch, which is now available on here, is because of the friendliness that I've encountered in some Discord communities. And the idea of a Discord community and a gaming community and just having friends in general is not something I'm used to. I'm used to always having to just go it all on my own. People being nice to me is something that's really something I don't really react well to because I'm just not used to it. See, growing up, I had my stepmother being like iron-fisted, rules. All the rules, sometimes to ridiculous extremes. My dad kind of went along with it so he wouldn't get kicked out of the house. Stuff like that. It's kind of, they talk about your young adult life is a journey of self-discovery. That's definitely the case with me. So there's things that I've discovered on my own as I've lived an adult life, so to speak, that have turned me into what I am, and I'm different from my relatives as a result of that. I'm pretty much my own person. There are some things that began with me, and there's some things that end with me in terms of family traditions, viewpoints, things along those lines. And so, with everything going on, and the whole ESO thing going on and stuff like that, I've seen a lot of really nice people really appreciating what I've been doing with the, I call them ESO jams. They're a parody of sermon jams. If you've ever encountered the Calvinist scene on YouTube, I can't even remember half of these people's names. Lane something or another? Lane's blog, I think was the name. I haven't been to these channels in many, many years. Lane Chaplin or something. I don't know. But there were there's a whole scene of Calvinists on YouTube who believe in Reformed theology, and they make videos where they take passionate evangelical sermons and they put graphics to them, so it looks like a montage from a movie as the preacher is preaching. So that's kind of the thing I've been doing with ESO, taking something from the YouTube audio library, a really nice song, and then trying to make graphics to go along with it to make it look like a movie trailer or something along those lines. And people like those. I've been getting some nice reactions in Discord from mostly Mackie Phoenix's folks who like the thing I use for the stream opener for ESO streams these days, as well as the thing I made for Christmas. And I want to make some more of those too. There are some tracks on the YTAL that have me inspired to make some kind of montage to go along with them. So I've decided to start calling them ESO jams. Actually, tonight I was thinking if these were popular enough, I'd make a separate channel for them so people could sub and just binge watch them. But a playlist for the time being can do that just fine on YouTube. So, but that's the most positive response I've gotten from literally anything that I've done is from those. So I want to make some more of those. I've also gotten positive responses from the appliance videos that I've done. And of course, there's always positive responses from the tech videos. Of course, tech's in a rut right now. You got the whole shortages thing and things are more expensive. And it's one of the reasons why, I do have money that came in from advertising since 2016. I could buy a top-end computer right now and not spend any of my own money from years of ad revenue. I keep a spreadsheet on this stuff. But I don't want to because I know things are more expensive, so it wouldn't be a good use of the funds. Wait until the prices get back to something resembling normal and then build something. We got a couple of years until Windows 10 goes EOS, EOL. So keep Monolith going. It's run perfectly since 2016. And actually, for my next system, I actually don't want to... For my next main system, I want to make sure that Monolith stays in one piece. I don't want to be pulling stuff out of Monolith for that. So we're going to get all new stuff, start completely from scratch. So that way, I can just come back to this Windows 10 machine anytime I want. Maybe pull like the extra drives out, but definitely buy at least a new system drive, 1 terabyte M2 to put on the motherboard. Maybe get a motherboard with multiple things for M2. Figure out how I can get a motherboard in a computer these days that doesn't have a stupid little squirrel cage fan, because the rest of my system's 140 millimeter fans. Have a little tiny little fan making tons of noise. No thanks. But tech videos, I mean, I have projects I can do with electronics and old computers and stuff. I have stuff like that I can do without having to spend anything. So just gotta figure out when to do what, because Elder Scrolls Online keeps being interesting. This whole channel has been a hobby for the past 15 years. Part of that is, what the heck do I feel like doing tonight? This chat stream thing is, I'm doing this one specifically to clear the air with people about me being a total douche. So, going on about, oh, I'm not watching stuff you're not interested in. There's a lot of things in play. I've been looking over the numbers. If you've seen the channel analytics, if you have a YouTube channel and you look at your analytics, there's more stuff in there nowadays than there was years ago. So we got some folks coming in. That's nice. Hopefully nobody was expecting ESO. It's too late for me to stream any ESO right now. The thing is, though, if I look at my audience data that's being collected, folks, because there's no such thing as passively watching YouTubers, the best time for me to stream is a time that's not really good with my sleep schedule for night shift. It's Fridays, 10 a.m. to noon. That's when the most people who watch my videos are on YouTube, is Fridays, late morning into early afternoon. So it's a sort of thing where there's a bit of a scheduling conflict with that. But I'm over here like, no concurrence, no discoverability. Yeah, well, that's because lots of people... I spent years doing tech videos on day shift. So people with day shift schedules, they're going to be familiar with this kind of stuff. Now, they'll be watching videos, but it is totally stupid for anybody to think, oh, yeah, someone's going to be up till 3 in the morning when I'm winding down after a night shift job. No, that's not the way it works. And even geographically, you're talking about U.S. primetime. Television has its primetime in the early to mid-evenings for a reason. Because that's when the most people are available to watch. It's why its advertising costs more. And radio, of course, has morning shows, so I could stay up way too late for this job and pretend to be a morning radio guy as people are getting up and getting ready to go to work. But right now, with what I have right now, with chill stream beats ambient music, I don't think that really would work for something like that. So it's just a matter of, one of the things I run into with the 9-to-5ers these days, a lot of people getting upset on the job where I'm at are getting upset because they're getting mad at something that's just happening anyways. They're treating it like it's a personal insult. And this is something that it's a hard habit to break. Folks, just because something happens to you doesn't mean it's happening at you. And it's interesting because, some of the religious folks I grew up with were like, oh, that's the devil coming after you. You better pray away the bad stuff in your life when that happens. And, rebuke the devil and reclaim your life. And as I've grown up and learned a bit more besides those traditions, I've been like, well, what if you just have a run of bad luck? What if it's just coincidence? What if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time? There's lots of other explanations besides some big bad is out to get you. Physical or supernatural or anything like that. So where are we at with all of this? The other issue I have with tech videos and people that watch tech videos is some of the clanging brass commentary that I'm seeing in the comments. You'll go to some tech people's channels, not everybody in the comments is going to be enthusiastically talking about the subject matter. You'll see a lot of people just ramble on about their own computers in the comments like they're not even watching the videos. And I'm over here like, are they even watching the video? Can only imagine what it must be like to be somebody like Paul's Hardware, put all kinds of effort into making a video and then wonder if people are watching it, as opposed to using your comment sections as a bulletin board. But I think, you know, we're talking nerds here. That if there's a problem with social skills, we shouldn't be surprised. But let's just understand that actions have consequences and we affect the people around us. So if you want to not send a signal that you care about someone's content, you're just using the comment section as a chat room, then that's going to have consequences, especially if people get suspicious of it. So, other than that, though, I mean, certainly had fun making tech videos, certainly can have fun making tech videos, but I want to keep the Geek House dark mode theme, because if we don't have this, we're back to, you know, the walls being a little yellow and stuff like that. I'd like to have a rather more like futuristic look to this, so I'm probably gonna end up getting more lights to turn the place even more blue blue into purple, and then have specific lights for like lighting up the computers and stuff like that. I went back to light mode for Silver Bullet 2000, but that's just too generic, and the paint in this place as it gets older might yellow more, kind of like in my last place. When I moved into the apartment that I was at before I came to the Geek House, it started out beige and turned out Boston cream, and when I left it was Boston cream yellow. It's just paint gets old. The problem with this place is the landlord obviously painted it before CFs, when incandescents were still the top light fixture. CFs and now LED bulbs have introduced daylight, not just soft white, as colors for lighting. So the paint doesn't really fit any of that kind of stuff. So the thing with these kinds of light setups, though, is no matter what color your place is, shine a certain colored light onto it and change the color. The way light works is the wavelengths of red, blue, green, blah, blah, blah need to be present in order for you to see it, or for a camera to see it. So if I only fire blue at the wall, it's going to turn it blue. Maybe the paint, and you can see this too if you just do blue light or light that's one color. Black lights can do some weird stuff like that too for the same reason. But you know, you just go around with just blue light or just red light or just green light or something, and things will look bizarre. You'll have a hard time seeing other colors because the light isn't available for your eyes to work with or for a camera to work with. So I went into the whole Geek House dark mode thing for a reason. I think it's cool. I think it's techie and nerdy, and it makes me play around with a form of technology, just like tinkering with any computer would. So let's take a look at the revenue tab on this thing. I guess the big thing that bums me out is that this channel has been at about 3,800 subs since 2018. It's like YouTube has me turned off. I seriously wonder if I start a second channel, could I trick the algorithms into thinking I'm a new YouTuber if I make the right stuff, and then direct people over to here to get around all of this garbage? Then just shut the channel down if the algorithms turn everything off again. There's a lot of people that are just sick and tired. There's a lot of people out there that are sick and tired of YouTube putting a robot between you and your ability to get anywhere on the platform. Oh, what's this? Creator Insider. Looks like Rachel made another video. Let me just open this. No dark mode. January 20th. Use YouTube Analytics. Oh, so Rachel's doing some stuff already. Oh, okay. I got to check that out then. Those of you that aren't familiar, Rachel is one of the hosts of Creator Insider. She works in the analytics and algorithms teams. So she has been the best of the hosts on there because she gets into the nitty gritty a lot more than a lot of other people on that team do. Let's see, checking some other stuff in the analytics here. Looks like some of the channels that were stealing my content have been terminated. So there's only one channel that has gotten 4 views in a couple of years by ripping off one of my tech videos from like 7-8 years ago. Could have DMCA'd them, but usually those channels self-destruct. No need to get into that DMCA mess for that kind of stuff. But let's see here. What I like, though, is the transparency. There's more transparency. They can give me way better insights into things. And so part of that, I can tell you, is that YouTube, one of the things I don't like about YouTube is that YouTube is turned into a game that you play. Like, for example, the view funnel, or the watch time funnel. From impressions, people need to click on them, work on impressions, click-through rate. Well, that encourages you to make clickbait Except I follow everything on Twitter. I follow everything on Twitter, and I see people getting banned from YouTube for spam, scams, and deceptive content. So, I mean, yeah, okay, play a thumbnail game, but don't play it too much. Where's the line? It's just like, I think that's really the issue here, is that YouTube is notably nebulous when people try to figure out how to do things right, because they don't want to encourage bad actors to play the system. But this silence on what to do just leaves people clueless. But there's certainly plenty of numbers. There's certainly plenty of numbers going around, though. There's some new things coming out, but there isn't enough activity on even the tech videos to populate certain tools that I have available to see who likes what are people subscribing for, and what they come back with. Now, let me look at audience, because there's a new section called Over the Last 90 Days. It's too new to really be useful right now. Videos growing your audience, where it'll say, you know, people that showed up for the first time there, how many of them came back. The problem I have, though, with something like videos growing your audience is that people don't just use YouTube as a form of video social media anymore like they did back when I first came to the platform. They use it as a video search engine. They're looking for things to watch or answers to questions. They're not going to care about the YouTuber. They just want to watch a good video. That's really it. They it's just like, but that's why I talk about you have an audience and you have a fan base. So there's the people that are just watching you, and then there's the people that like you and actually support you. So what do we have? What do we have on the board here for all of this? What we have on the board here is figure out the tech video side of it, when we're going to do any of these projects. I don't have very much to work with because of the equipment shortages and stuff that's going on right now. On the ESO side of things, the game streams, what to include in them to keep them from becoming daily minutia. So, and then of course make a few ESO videos to pass around. The montages that I've been making, people love those things. And then also, I also have to think about on the graphical side of things, because I've been getting a lot of people really liking my souped up ESO screenshots. Well, some of that's the source material. Elder Scrolls Online has had a lot of really good graphic upgrades since the game came out. And I play the game at max when I'm not streaming and close to max when I am streaming. So my screenshots from the game are going to look really good. Then I pop them into Picasa or some other graphic soup up program and make them look even better. People have really liked those things. They also like the sense of style and things like that. Well, that's because presentation is something that I've given a darn about for many, many years. It's part of my background on the audiovisual side of things. So it's something that I've really been able to refine over the years and find ways to make things work, particularly with some of my characters and the way they look in game. But people like the screenshots and stuff, so I'm going to do more of that on Instagram and Twitter. Then become known as the person with the pretty screenshots. And do some montages, pass those around. Got some other ideas for videos outside of the wacky world of MultimediaJay. Keep the current season going, because we don't really have enough videos to call it with that. And I want to have some big plot twist be when I end all of that and move on to a new format. But I don't want to be in a situation where I'm shutting everything down for months while I'm waiting to make something. So the best audience right now that I'm getting is, in terms of the friendliest audience, is actually from the ESO stuff. I want to pursue that. Tech projects, who knows? No, but I do need to rearrange this house and set up some equipment in various places. But I think what I can do today, though, let's take down that video, Tech Entertainment, if it isn't already gone. It's from a while ago. It's from May of 2020. 85, It's an old light mode vlog. Let's get rid of it. I don't want people to think I made any promises with that. Truth of the matter is, I've always been somebody who's worn many hats. You go back to my school days, I'm changing clubs and stuff like that. Yeah, there are even comments and things like that. But I guess the biggest thing is I'm just sick and tired of this YouTube involvement or literally anything else that I do feel like running up and down escalator. Because it's horrible. Whether it's online or offline. The 2010s were kind of ruined because of that. Then we come into the 2020s and I'm like, oh, the Roaring 20s 2.0. Then the pandemic happens. When do things get better? YouTube could certainly do a better job, though. The platform I joined in the 2000s was one where a nobody could become a somebody. People were enthusiastic about making videos, and new media challenged traditional media. Today, there's a crap ton of traditional media on here. There's movies, TV shows, other stuff. Where is there room for the independent content creator on here anymore? Between the systems and the algorithms, it's very easy to end up depressed and thinking nothing you do matters anymore. So anybody who breaks the mold, you giving a darn is very, very appreciated. It's great to not feel completely worthless every so often. So I've given it some time for, the ambient music to kind of stop for a bit, because we're going to get woken back up by the outro music for this thing. 5:21 at the Geek House. I'm going to call it a morning. Might get back to some ESO streaming later on, but I did owe a lot of people apologies for being a total jackass with some things. Nowadays, though, there is more transparency available through YouTube Creator Studio, and there's ways of getting to the bottom of things instead of having to make guesses. There's a bit more data available than there used to be, so that means less trying to take guesses and hope that they're right. YouTubers take notice. Good night.